449-8255, michaelsavage.com. We're talking about great books. So Times critics, who are all lefties, list the 100 best English language novels. I'll read some of them because some of them I agree with. The ones that are not on the list are the important ones to pay attention to. And they're in alphabetical order. The Adventures of Augie March by Saul Bellow, a stiff. Animal Farm by George Orwell, critically important. Catcher in the Rye, J.D. Salinger, very important. Clockwork Orange, 1963 by Anthony Burgess, a work of genius. The Day of the Locust by Nathaniel West, 1939. I couldn't get through the first 12 pages. Gone with the Wind, didn't touch it. Costume piece. Grapes of Wrath, 10 pages.
Savage.
On this. And so, I'll go back to Time Magazine's left-wing list of the 100 best novels. We left off with two that I said I never read. Gone with the Wind, couldn't read it. Grapes of Wrath. I mean, it's a book you thought you should like. I couldn't read it. The Great Gatsby, I read it. I was never moved by it. I mean, Hemingway likes Fitzgerald, so I read it. I didn't really find it that interesting. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carson McCullers, good title. Herzog by Saul Bellow, Byzantine, unreadable. I'm reading the list. I, Claudius by Robert Graves, couldn't stand it, and I met Robert Graves afterwards. He was worse than his novels. Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, big deal. Old man loves young girl. Lord of the Flies by William Golding, fabulous book. Actually fabulous book. Lucky Jim by Kingsley Amos, never read it. The Man Who Loved Children, I wonder what that's about, by Christina Steed. Of course, it has a different meaning today. The Man Who Loved Children from 1940 is not the book The Man Who Loved Children today. The Man Who Loved Children is probably running the education department today. Native Son by Richard Wright, 1984 by George Orwell, written in 1948. One of the most important books I've ever read, because we're living in it. On the Road by Jack Kerouac, one of the most important books I ever read. But I can name 5 other books by Kerouac that changed my life. On the Road, Dharma Bums. You want me to name the others? The Subterraneans. Every one of them was transformational in my life. Got me out of the delicatessen crowd in Queens. Was it not for Jack Kerouac, I would have been eating corned beef on Club and died at 46 of a triple bypass coronary occlusion of the soul. Was it not for Jack Kerouac, I would have eaten schmaltz all my life and been fat at 35 and died a sick, broken man with a broken briefcase somewhere in a phone booth on 3rd Avenue. Was it not for Jack Kerouac and the incredible literature that turned me around and transformed me into the man I am today, I would have eaten corned beef and cabbage at Katz's. No. Corned beef and cabbage on bars on 8th Avenue after being rejected in business meetings. I would have gone to Katz's on Ludlow Street and had a double corned beef, make it thick on the schmaltz. Take me to Bellevue in a stretcher, please. Was it not for Jack Kerouac, I wouldn't be the man I am today. So he said, oy vey. Hey, look, I got to have fun. You know, boys just want to have fun, is the way it's said. So let me finish the list, and we'll go. A Passage to India, E.M. Forster. I could read 3 pages of it, how to put it down. Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. Truly one of the most overrated books in history. In fact, the only reason Kurt Vonnegut was enjoyed is because he was a left-wing America hater. The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. Byzantine, impossible to read unless you were a tenured English professor. The Sun Also Rises by Hemingway. Very important book. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Couldn't touch it. The cover itself turned me off. Tropic of Cancer by Henry Miller. Oh, let's add to that one. How about Black Spring by Henry Miller? Saved my life on many a dull night. When things weren't working in my life, I always turned to Miller. Whenever I reached a cul-de-sac in my own existence, I always found Miller. When the night was so dark, there were no stars in my future to follow. Out of the abyss, there was only Henry Miller. Under the Volcano by Malcolm Lowry, one of the most important books I've ever read. You want to get a real picture of Mexico and the real subterranean culture of Mexico and what you really can expect underneath the floating gardens of Xochimilco? Read Under the Volcano, but make sure you've had 3 drinks before you do. So that's my analysis of Time's list of the 100 best novels. Which would you add to this list? Which are the books that changed your life? What are the movies?